This just in. Pretty much every male hobby imaginable is deemed unattractive by women. So, to my fellow men, we are so unbelievably cooked. As the title suggests, anime is on this list, and you'd be surprised at not only how high it is, but also what's listed beneath it. And in this video, we're going to go over this list of unattractive hobbies real quick, and then we're going to talk about, is watching anime actually a red flag? All right, I got the list right here. It'll be on screen for those who want to see it. These are the top 15 least attractive hobbies according to women. What women did they pull? I don't know. That's irrelevant. These are just numbers on a stat sheet, and it's going to make for a great conversation. So at the very bottom, we have the manosphere, which is like your Andrew Tate kind of stuff. Yeah, okay. The deservedly deserves to be at the bottom because the manosphere is kind of toxic. Right above that, we have gambling. Gambling, very bad for your wallet, very bad for you, kind of understandable. Next up, we have corn. Corn is next. That's number 3 from the bottom. Okay, so just keep in mind that according to women, which this corn should be number 1. Should be, but it's not. Number 1 will shock you. And I don't say that to be like the Watch Mojo. I mean that literally. Will shock you. It's just shocking to see how low that is on the list. Because, like, hold on. I want to pause for a second. Let me set my phone down. I want to pause for a second. The fact that, like, manosphere, gambling, corn, like, really? Really? I guess that just shows how, like, bad our society is nowadays. That, like, that's number 3 I don't know, whatever. Anyway, continuing on up, arguing online. That one's kind of fair. I don't really think that's a hobby per se, but you know what? Okay, sure. Next up, Funko. Yeah, Funko Pops. Okay, that's cool. Anyway, marijuana. Yes, very bad. Don't do that. Clubbing. You know what? That's fair. I don't know why clubbing isn't included in drinking and cigars, which are also on here separately. Then we have, next up is cigars. Okay. Crypto. I don't know. Is that a hobby? Like, do people do crypto as a hobby? I don't know. I don't think people know what a hobby is. Makeup. Okay, I can understand why makeup's kind of high, because that's a little... Like, I'm not trying to point fingers. I'm sure there's a lot of talented male makeup artists out there. I'm just saying... It raises a couple red flags, at least for me. Next up is anime. There's our anime number whatever on this list. You know, if you're keeping track, editor put it on screen so they know how high up we are. Magic the Gathering. That's so fair because every Magic player I've ever encountered has never showered. Ever. And I don't even mean that in like the nicest way possible. I don't think they've ever showered in their entire life. Next up is drinking. That's so fair. Drinking is terrible for you, and it all tastes bad. Next up, debating. Again, don't think that's a hobby. Cosplay, coming in at number 2. Okay. And then the according to women, what women don't know, couldn't tell you. Comic books is the least attractive hobby. And I know you look at that and you think, comic books? Really? More unattractive than corn? Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. That's what I'm saying. I don't know. So there's a lot of things on that list that I think, does that really count as a hobby? Like, is the manosphere really a hobby, or is it a state of mind? Because to me, a hobby is like anime, building Legos, Star Wars, right? Like playing video games. That's a hobby, not crypto or gambling. Well, I guess gambling could be a hobby, but you know, there's a lot of things on that list that I'm like, I don't think that's a hobby. So anyway, all that to say, anime is on the list, and you can, you know, I've looked into this specific study a little bit, and there might not be a ton of good evidence to go off of there, but I think it opens up an interesting conversation because there are a lot of people who, you know, on those like weird Jubilee dating shows or whatever, do say, you know, anime is a red flag. There was one that went around a couple months ago that was like Pokemon's a red flag. So I think it does open up an interesting conversation. Is watching anime actually a red flag? Well, it depends both on the individual person and the specific shows that they're watching. There's these two categories, and I'm going to dive into them a little bit. But that, I think, is what's going to determine whether or not it's really a red flag or not. So let's start with the individual. Are they haplessly addicted to anime and matching the stereotype that's given to anime fans of, living in your mom's basement, no drive to be better or work, probably a gooner? Or are they just watching anime as a hobby or a form of entertainment in the same way that, you'd watch Netflix or Disney Plus or even like sports like the NFL? Is that why they're watching anime? Because it's a way to unwind and calm down after work? Or, where do they fall in that category? And I would argue, at least from my personal experience, a large swath of male anime fans are just normal dudes who want to improve themselves and see anime as a motivation to do so, or even just see it as a, entertainment purposes. I cannot tell you how much motivation anime has given me personally to work out consistently and do things outside of my comfort zone, or even just be a better version of myself. I was working out the other day and Sasageo came on over my Bluetooth speaker and, really started like hitting all my reps and stuff. And side tangent, I think anime has done more for Western masculinity than anything produced in the West in the last 10, 15 years. Because when you ask people, what's your motivation for going to the gym? Some people who aren't anime fans will say, oh, I want to get better, I want to be like this guy, blah, 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 blah. Or I have a girlfriend or a wife and I want to look good for her, which is very valid reasons. You ask an anime fan, right? They're like, well, I want to be strong like Goku or Zoro or All Might or Deku. Like, I want to push myself and be better, because that's really all you see in anime. Is you see these characters who are constantly working and improving and training and trying to become better versions of themselves. And that's part of why a lot of guys watch anime, is because it does give you that like masculine drive, especially the shonen stuff, because shonen is literally targeted at teenage boys, like young boys who are about to become men and who are growing up. Like, it gives them, and it fills that void, and it gives them something to work towards, and an inspiration and a role model to work towards and find a way to better themselves. As for what anime they're watching, I think that matters too. Maybe a little more so than why they're watching it, but are these guys watching shows like My Hero, Demon Slayer, or One Piece that really leans into that masculinity like I was talking about? Or are they watching stuff like My Little Sister Can't Be This Cute or Eromanga Sensei that's almost wholly degenerate? You know what I'm saying? Now, before I continue, I don't want to get romance anime lumped in, because I know my fellow romance enjoyers out there are living vicariously through those characters. And there are a lot of really good romance anime that even have a really positive message to men on how they should be in relationships. And honestly, I think a good maybe 90%, maybe that's a little too generous, I think 90% of male protagonists in romance anime have much better relationship and life advice than someone like Andrew Tate, which I know the bar is like lower than I can even get, but still, I think Shirogane from Love is War has much better relationship advice than Andrew Tate. So that's just me though. Like, who am I to say? Anime is also a medium. It's not one type of show. You get action, romance, fantasy, etc. So lumping it all into one category because of one weird show you saw on Twitter isn't really fair. Like, I know you saw that one clip from like High School DxD or something, and you're like, oh, that's all anime. And then you ignore the Spy Family, the Frieren, the My Hero, the Demon Slayer, the One Piece. Like, you ignore all of those shows just because you saw one clip that's got a little too much jiggle physics, which granted isn't okay. I'm not trying to say that it's okay. It's not okay for that to exist because it's a little too degenerate, a little too much fan service. But then also it's not okay to label all anime as bad. You know what I mean? Like, there are plenty of good ones out there. It's the same argument when people say anime is satanic. It's not. At least not all of it is, because again, you have the Spy Family, the Frieren, the Demon Slayer, the My Hero, the One Piece, like Attack on Titan. You have a lot of good shows that are pushing really good messages, a lot better than anything in the West. Like, what, you want your boyfriend to sit on the couch and watch Love is Blind with you? No, thank you. I will watch One Piece all day. Let's also be really honest with ourselves. The hypothetical women who have taken this survey, who hypothetically gave real answers and hypothetically are accurate in their information, are the same ones who read the freaky romance novels that you see in Target and Barnes & Noble that have like the weirdest titles and have like the most degenerate, disgusting stuff in them, and binge stuff like Love Island, and that's their entertainment. So let's just keep that in mind. And I'm not saying all women do that, because they don't, right? They don't. We're not here to make sweeping over generalizations about anything. There is nuance to conversation. So not all women are like that, but the ones who would rank anime as a bit higher up on the red flag list probably read freaky romance novels and binge stuff like Love Island. Now, on the flip side of that, men think women who watch anime are wife material, and I can attest to that. My girlfriend watches anime with me. That's wife material right there. What do you mean she can sit down and watch One Piece with me? Well, she wouldn't watch One Piece. It's too long. And that's the whole thing. It's whatever. But we do watch anime together, and that is a really fun thing. And even if, you know, she doesn't watch anime with you, right? Like, that's okay. Everyone's allowed to have their own hobby. And I think that's kind of what I'm trying to get at. To answer the question, is watching anime a red flag? Generally, no. But it does have an asterisk of things to look out for that could potentially make it a red flag, like no desire to work, gooning all the time, probably still lives in his mother's basement, doesn't shower at least twice a week, you know, oh, that's a little general, doesn't shower at all, you know, like there's certain things that make it a red flag. But then there's also things, I think, that make it a green flag. If you want to talk about, is watching anime a green flag, right? Because anime can encourage you to work out more, take better care of yourself, be a more, you know, honest and humble and honorable person, right? Like, I think there's green flags that it can pull out in men too. And I think that's what I would encourage you, the viewer, who's probably a guy, because most of my audience skews to guy, you know, that's how it goes. That's what I would encourage you to pull from anime. Look at anime and find the positives, find the ways that it pushes you and encourages you to work out, hit that extra set, lift those extra weights, you know, open the door for a lady who's walking in the store. Even if you don't have to, even if you don't want to, you should just do it, all right? Look for ways that anime can be a green flag, because it's very easy to hyperfixate on the red flags and hyperfixate on the negative. So, what do you think? Is watching anime a red flag? Feel free to drop your thoughts in the comments below. And I would love to actually continue this conversation, because I posted on Twitter on whether or not I should even make this video. And a lot of people, I actually had a lot of women in the replies saying that they don't consider it to be a red flag. So I don't think it's as black and white as we think it is. I think there are a lot of women out there who think watching anime is fine. So I wouldn't like be super worried about it. But yeah, feel free to drop your thoughts in the comments. I love to hear about it and continue it. I also want to give a super special shout out to the channel members who make all of these videos possible. It is only through your support that I can keep doing this. And that being said, I think you should go check out whatever video I decide to put here. I don't have one specifically to plug this time around, but I'm going to put it right here. You should go watch it. It's probably a really good video. And until the next video, I'll see you guys next time. Peace out.